Hello friends! Baby animals make people feel all warm and happy. That's because they look helpless, cute, and funny. And today's video will definitely convince you of that. Hippos are usually born in water. The baby hippo's weight at the time is 40 kilograms. Its body is about 1 meter long and about 50 centimeters wide at the shoulders. After it's born, the mother pushes the baby hippo towards the surface of the water so it can breathe. Surprisingly, the baby hippo is one of the few mammals that can suckle milk underwater. While in the water, the cub closes its nostrils and presses in its ears to prevent water from getting inside. These pink-skinned cuties spend a lot of their time on the backs of their mothers. It is safe and warmer there. When pandas are born, they look completely different from adults. The baby pandas are tiny, blind, pink, and have virtually no hair. Their average weight at birth is only 100 grams, and the length of their body is about 18 centimeters. The baby's legs are so weak that it can't even stand on them. When the panda is about 7 days old, dark spots begin to appear on its skin, and in the following week, its black fur begins to grow out. They only begin to walk at about 3 months old, but even then, they can only go for about a meter, stumbling and even falling down sometimes. At the age of 1 month, their eyes open, both white and black hair is growing, and the little babies slowly begin to look like the pandas we all know and love. A newborn dromedary is about 90 centimeters tall at the withers and weighs about 40 kilograms. As soon as the calf is born, it does its best to stand up. Just a couple of hours after birth, the baby dromedary can already follow its mother, along with the rest of the herd. These wonderful animals are born with funny, slightly curly fur. However, they don't yet have their inherent distinctive feature, their hump. At birth, kangaroos resemble small worm-like creatures, about 25 millimeters in size and weighing less than a gram. The tail and hind legs of kangaroo babies resemble small stumps. Their eyes are closed and their ears aren't shaped yet. The joey's mouth is just a hole, but despite that, they can independently move to their mother's pouch and latch onto her breast to nurse. A newborn kangaroo is covered from the cold and bad weather in their mother's pouch. It grows quickly, but only begins to stick its head out of the pouch by the 5th month. By that time, its body is already slightly covered with hair. By the end of the 6th month, it will begin to crawl out of the pouch and walk around its mother. By the end of the 8th month, it can finally leave its refuge. Giraffes give birth standing up, which means that their cubs start their life with a fall from a height of about 2 meters. But don't worry, the baby giraffes do not get injured in the fall. By the way, just try and imagine, these cuties are born with a height of about 180 centimeters. An hour after the birth, the cub gets up on their feet, and another couple of hours later, they can already run. Giraffes are born without horns, but there's a tuft of dark hair with cartilage under it at the place where they will eventually grow. As the cubs grow older, the cartilage hardens, turning into horns, which gradually grow. Newborn polar bears are helpless and weigh only half a kilogram. At first, the babies are covered with thin fur, which virtually doesn't do anything to protect them from the cold. Therefore, the mother bear doesn't leave the den during the first weeks of the cubs' lives. The cubs don't open their eyes right away, but rather a whole month after their birth. 2-month-old cubs are already starting to crawl out of the den in order to leave it completely after reaching the age of 3 months. Baby lions are born blind and completely helpless, like all felines. They weigh about 1.5 kilograms. After a day or two, they begin to crawl and only try to walk after they're 2 weeks old. Surprisingly, lion cubs are born with brown spots on their bodies, just like leopards. As they mature, these spots disappear. A mane begins to grow in male cubs at the age of 6 months. Lions can't roar until they are about 2 years old. An elephant's pregnancy usually ends with the birth of 1 and sometimes 2 elephants. Newborn elephants weigh 100 kilograms. These clumsy cubs depend on their mother for everything, even though they seem very large and well-developed. For several months, they never leave their mother's side. They follow the mother, holding onto her tail with their little trunk. If they sense danger, they hide under her belly, and if necessary, the whole herd protects the calves. Foals stand up immediately after they're born. It looks incredibly cute. They quickly learn to walk, but it looks very awkward at first, since their limbs haven't completely straightened yet. Their tendons will become stronger over time, and their legs will straighten out. The foals have soft fur, fluffy mane, and a tail. Little foals are very playful. They jump, fool around, play with their peers and their mother, whose side they never leave. From the very first hours of their life, foals copy their mother's behavior in everything. The weight of a newborn raccoon is about 75 grams. They are born blind, deaf, and helpless, just like kittens. They also don't have teeth at first. Only after 3 weeks do the kits begin to hear and see. Raccoon babies have short, light brown hair. Their distinctive rings on the tail and a stripe on the head show after about 10 days old. Raccoons love eating very much, so the mother raccoon has to feed them at least 20 times a day at first. Thus, they begin to grow rapidly when they're about 1 month old, and by the 4th or 5th month, they can already get food on their own. Raccoons become adults when they turn 1 year old. A newborn baby rhino weighs about 50 kilograms. When the little rhino is born, the bump can be clearly seen on its head. This is the rhino's future weapon, the horn. The baby is born full of strength and energy, since after a maximum of an hour, it stands firmly on its feet and follows its mother. When the mother is pregnant again, the rhino either leaves in search of a new home or leaves its mother for a while until his little brother or sister grows up. A baby zebra is called a foal. Zebras give birth to one, but a very large and developed foal that weighs 30 kilograms and is 80 centimeters tall. Newborn foals don't have black stripes, like adults. Their stripes are rather reddish-brown, and they only change to black over time. Just 10 minutes after birth, the foal is already on its feet. 20 minutes later, it can already walk. And 40 minutes later, it's merely jumping around its mother. Interestingly, the milk that zebras nurse their foals with is not white, but pink. A female moose usually gives birth to only one calf at a time. Calves are born with a cute light red coat and are very resilient. Just imagine, they stand up on their legs literally a few minutes after being born, and in just a couple of days, they're already following their mother. Moose calves grow very quickly, and in 6 months, they weigh 10 times their birth weight. That's because the milk that their mother nurses them with is very fatty and rich in proteins. Gorilla infants weigh about 2 kilograms at birth. They are completely helpless and unable to even crawl. The infant is usually dependent on its mother, who feeds it, carries it everywhere, protects and emotionally supports it, until the age of 3, when it becomes an independent member of the group. Friends, that's all for today. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, and see you soon.